You probably know Singapore's reputation. It's the spotless, hyper-efficient, impossibly wealthy global transit hub, a place where the airport has an indoor rainforest and the skyline looks like a sci-fi movie. But less than 80 years ago, this same island was a devastated war zone. The Japanese invasion left the city in ruins, its infrastructure shattered, and its people starving. Surviving that and transforming into an economic powerhouse required intense, unified direction, largely driven by its founding prime minister, Lee Kuan Yew. He had to manufacture an economy from scratch because the island has almost zero natural resources. What it did have was a strategic location at the crossroads of maritime trade, which made it the colonial jewel of the British Empire for well over a century. That massive flow of trade brought a dense, chaotic mix of Chinese, Malay, and Indian immigrants, cramming together in packed street grids that formed the actual foundation of the city. This chart lays out the problem. You're choosing between two cities crammed into a 10-mile radius, the manicured global hub and the raw heritage crossroads. We'll map these attractions against two main constraints: your financial budget and your tolerance for physical exhaustion. Because of the extremes here, there is no free ride. You will pay a premium to experience Singapore. You just have to decide whether you're paying in dollars or in sweat. Let's start with the cultural heritage districts. On our chart, these plot right here. High impact, low financial cost, but extremely high physical effort. The effort comes from the environment. Exploring historic quarters like Kampong Glam or Little India means walking block after block through 90% equatorial humidity. And when you're hungry, you're heading into a hawker center. These are open-air food markets packed with locals, completely devoid of air conditioning, where you'll stand in long lines while cooks work open flames right in front of you. But the reward for dealing with the heat is massive. You get access to iconic dishes like spicy coconut laksa or stuffed murtabak that are world-class, usually for just a few dollars a plate. You can also see the direct remnants of the old trading days by grabbing a ride on a traditional bumboat down the Singapore River, winding past the original colorful shophouses. If you want genuine cultural immersion without breaking the bank, you have to accept that battling the intense heat is the mandatory price of entry. Now look at the top left of our chart. This is the exact opposite approach, the mega attractions. High impact, low physical effort, but very high financial cost. Here, your wallet takes the hit. You're paying steep entry fees for almost everything, whether it's a $35 cover charge just to access a rooftop bar or paying for an observatory deck. In exchange, the logistics are effortless. Everything is connected by a spotless MRT transit system and enclosed in heavy air conditioning. You completely eliminate the heat from the equation. The visual payoff for that money is spectacular. You get to stand in front of the Vortex, a towering indoor waterfall right inside the airport, or walk among the massive solar-powered super trees at Gardens by the Bay. Look at the skyline from above. You can see how the sheer volume of concentrated capital dominates the entire aesthetic of the city. This route gives you maximum physical comfort and flawless photos, but you are essentially buying a heavily commercialized experience that insulates you from how most people actually live here. There is a third option on our chart, one that challenges the idea that Singapore is just a concrete and glass island. We label these the wild escapes. If you push to the edges of the city, you hit places like the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve and the 10-kilometer jungle trail network of the Southern Ridges. These trails are mostly free. You can spot rare macaques or hike across the Henderson Waves, a massive pedestrian bridge suspended right out of the treetops. The furthest extreme of this route is catching a boat out to Pulau Ubin. This island preserves the original Kampong village lifestyle. It's a look at the wooden stilt houses and quiet wetlands that existed long before the skyscrapers took over the mainland. These natural escapes offer an incredible value, but dedicating a full day to trekking through dense jungle on the equator requires the highest level of physical endurance of anything you can do here. This decision tree takes those trade-offs and builds a tailored itinerary based on your primary travel constraint: time, budget, or comfort. First is the time-poor layover. If you only have 1 or 2 days, you stick to the center. You hit the jewel Changi airport, walk the Marina Bay waterfront, and book a guided food tour through a hawker center to save time hunting for the best stalls. You get highly efficient sightseeing, but you sacrifice any chance of exploring the wild jungle reserves or the deeper historical pockets of the city.
Next is the Budget Cultural Explorer, staying 3 to 5 days. You grab an easy link card for the public transit, book a cheaper hotel in Kampong Glam, eat exclusively at hawker markets, and stick to the free botanical gardens and nature trails. This path forces you to meticulously planning days around the midday heat and afternoon rain. You'll also have to skip the iconic, expensive rooftop views. Finally, there's the Comfort Optimizer. You want a frictionless trip. You're booking a luxury hotel near Orchard Road, paying for access to the high-altitude Skyway at Gardens by the Bay, and taking a guided river cruise. The risk here is that you'll pay top-tier global prices to essentially treat the city like a flawless but entirely artificial theme park. Getting the most out of Singapore isn't about trying to see everything. It's about looking at exactly what you're willing to spend, either in cash or in physical endurance, and calibrating your itinerary to match.